How you doing? This is Frank, frankangeldrums.com, and I'm going to be making a video on how to create a variable click track for the iPad application Multitracker. So, a band I currently work with is using Multitracker and an iPad to play backing tracks, and during some of the songs on the backing tracks, there is retards and slowdowns and things like that. However, the built-in click track that is used with Multitracker does not slow down with the backing tracks. And this is the first time I've ever used Multitracker. I'm actually an Ableton Live user, so but I was definitely intrigued by this application. I kind of like it a lot. It's small package which you can put in an iPad, and it's multi-channel, so you have a lot of options for routing and a lot of options to be able to mix, your backing tracks properly with your group. However, it seemed to me, and after talking with a couple of the people and some others that use Multitracker, one of the common complaints was that the click track within Multitracker is unable to be tempo mapped to your sequences. So I wanted to kind of take a look at that. I didn't see a lot of videos about it, nor did I read any in the forums. It looks like there was a lot of complaints that was an issue. So not seeing very many solutions to this problem, I decided to go ahead and test it out, and I wanted to make this video and show you how I overcame it. And I am now able to use variable tempo maps with Multitracker imported. So let's start out with the sequence process. I'm just going to make a general sequence. So what I have here is Studio One Professional. You can do this, I believe, in Pro Tools and Logic. Ableton Live does not support exporting of tempo tracks, but you can do a roundabout work by creating a MIDI file, and then there's a workaround, but I'm not going to get into that into this video. However, this is using Studio One Pro. So what I have open here is I have the tempo marker open. And if you don't know how to get to that, it's into this section here under tempo, and that exposes the tempo track. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in a quick instance of Impact, which is basically a drum machine, and I'm just going to select a random whatever Garage Tech. That's good. I'll just a little bit of a drum thing here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up a MIDI file, and I'm going to take it out to be about, 28 bars or so. This is just for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to click inside of that, and when you click inside of that, it gives you all of the pads and instruments. So let's just create a quick little ditty. Just so that we have something to work with here. Nothing real exciting, just real basic. So now I'm just going to copy these, duplicate. So I'm just going to duplicate that all the way down my 28 bars. Cool. So if I go back, this is what it sounds like. And right now we're playing at 120 beats per minute. No variations. Cool. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to start drawing in some time changes here, and then so you can now start to get an idea of what we are working with the tempo map. Okay, so we have some pretty variable tempos going on. 120, 98, 70, back up to something here. What is this? 116, 79, 103. It's going to ramp kind of squirrely up to 103, whatever. So anyway, we have some tempos. So now let's play this back and you can hear what it sounds like. Anyway, you get the idea. So basically we have some pretty dramatic tempo changes, things that are going on just for the demonstration purposes of this video. So from this point, we've started our sequencing. Now, a couple things I noticed. There was a couple sequence of events that you need to take. So from this point, what we're going to do is we're basically going to export the tempo track, because now we've created a tempo map. We've got a MIDI file that's associated with it, but we're not going to be using this MIDI file as like playback. We're going to just be using it as just simply a marker. So I'm going to go up here to File, Save As, okay, and we are going to create, let's just create a new folder because I've used this. So MIDI test 2. Okay, so in here, MIDI test 2, we're going to use that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to keep this here, and we're going to create a MIDI file. Okay, MIDI file, .midi file, and we're going to say save. And it's going to ask you if you want to use the MIDI format, and we're going to say use MIDI file format. And that's it. So from here, let's say I want this drum part as part of my audio sequence in Multitracker. So from here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bounce this selection as audio. Okay. And then I am going to export that selection into our file, and it's a WAV file. I'm just going to call it drums. Okay. And that's pretty much all we got to do. And then we can continue to sequence as we want. So if we're using keyboard sequences, guitar sequences, or anything else, we can do that. You don't have to use a drum track. This is just for demonstration purposes, so we can import some audio with this file so you can see how this works with, let's say, a backing track or something like that. So once you have that information, all those files already copied over in your Finder and on a Mac, you're going to go to your Studio One folder, into your song files, and Multitracker MIDI test. Now I have this MIDI test 2. Okay. Now what we're going to do from here is we are going to export them to our iPad. So how I'm going to do that is I am going to basically hit share, and then I'm going to hit AirDrop, and you can see my iPad is connected, and I'm going to hit click. All right. So now we're in my iPad, and I'm just going to go ahead and close Multitracker real quick. So from when you get ready to export your file or share your file over to your iPad, I'm going to AirDrop it. So I'm going to click AirDrop there. And now you're going to get this option. Now, what I like to do is don't use Multitracker. I'm going to go to Files, and then I'm going to go on my iPad, okay? And I'm going to create in here, and I'm going to add another folder. I'm going to name that MIDI test 2. Okay. I'm going to select that folder, and I'm going to hit save. Okay. And now this is our MIDI file. Click done. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing. And I know we're not on the computer, but I'm going to export the audio file, the drums audio file, from my computer to my iPad. Now notice we get the same kind of apply. I'm going to go to Files, okay, and now I'm going to go collect to MIDI test 2, and I'm going to click Save. There's our audio file. Click Done. Perfect. Okay, so once we're in our audio files, now I'm going to open up Multitracker. Okay. We have basically here song configuration, which is an unnamed file. We're going to go to Settings. We're going to go to File Manager. And we're going to go to Imported Files. We are going to scroll over here to M's. We're going to create a folder. And we're going to name this folder MIDI Test 2. Okay. Awesome. Now in that folder, we're going to say Import. Now we're going to go to our audio files on our iPad. So it's basically in Files, right? Audio Files, MIDI Test 2, and we are going to select the Multitracker, Transfer Successful. And now what we're going to do is import our drums audio. Transfer successful. Awesome. And that's all we need to do from here. Now let's go back to our song configuration. Okay, we're going to go to our imported files, and we're going to scroll down to MIDI test 2, and we have these files now on our left-hand side that are available. We're going to click the Multitracker MIDI test and drums.wave. We are importing both of those files. Okay. Now, if you notice, there's a MIDI file, Multitracker MIDI test.midi. We're going to click the clicks and clock track. Now we get the generic click with the output and the fader. Notice the fader doesn't move right now. We have to assign an output. So we're going to assign speaker 1, speaker 2, because that's all I have. I'm not connected to an audio interface. And then we're also going to do the same for the output of our drums. Left and right, it's a stereo file. So we're going to create that. Now we have audio control, fader control for our click and for our audio file. Going back to our generic click, however, we want to make sure that click is enabled, and then where it says duration in seconds, we want to go from file. Once we've done that, we know that now the file being used is Multitracker MIDI test.midi. So I'm going to hit play, and let's see what we do. So right now you can hear the drums, you can hear the click track, and the dramatic changes in tempo that we created in our DAW. And stop. And there you have it. You have a variable tempo track that is being used by Multitracker for your audio files. Well, my name is Frank from Frank Angel Drums. Thank you so much for taking this time to watch this. I hope to see you on the next one, and hopefully this answers some questions. If it did, hit that like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you get notifications of new videos coming out. Thank you guys. Have a great day.